flashes of memory present. Welcome to channel.
Scary story. I saw a black shadow from my car. I was on a college ghost hunt with a guy named Chris Fleming. Cool dude, we did all the normal college ghost hunt stuff, walking to supposedly haunted dorms and experiencing some cool stuff, but nothing crazy. The city we were in had this special place called the Ghost Trestle. It was basically a railroad bridge in the middle of a cornfield that had a dirt road underneath it. Anyways, during the ghost hunt with this guy who was actually featured on Ghost Adventures, we told him about this place. He was pumped and rushed through the rest of the college ghost hunt. Him and his assistant and a few of my friends took 2 cars with all his equipment to this Ghost Trestle. When we got there, a train was coming, so he interviewed us on camera to tell the story about this place. The story. Back a long time ago, there was a farmhouse. Still there, but rebuilt, and a farmer. His wife and son escaped a fire in the house. Also on fire was the horse stables. The farmer ran in to try and rescue the horse before they succumbed to the fire, while the wife and son went to wave down a train that was passing by. The story ends with the farmer dying in the stable fire. And as the wife and child were waving down the train, they were struck and killed. To this day, if you park your car under the bridge while a train crossed you above it, suppose to open up another dimensional world to be able to communicate. Well, we show up, and of course, to our luck, there's a train coming. We all freaked out and got pumped while the medium Chris Fleming attempted to communicate. We were all taking pictures and began to experience weird technological failures. My camera, which was my own, began flashing and taking multiple pictures. Same thing was occurring with our disposable camera Chris Fleming's assistant had. At one point, we began to see stuff mostly out of the corner of our eyes, and Chris attempted to communicate. But whatever spirit was there seemed more intimidated. He believed it to be the spirit of the little boy. We would every now and then see a figure poking its head out from behind a concrete wall under the tracks. It seemed like it was playing hide and seek. I can honestly say that I was young and thought this stuff was hoax and just fun for college kids to pretend. Until this night, when we had a real professional experience, the same thing we all did. Fast forward to a year or 2 after this event. I came to this same place for the first time since the night we went with Chris Fleming. This time it was just me and my then GF. I parked under the bridge, turned off the car and lights, and took the key out of the ignition. We were joking together about how we were getting too old for this stuff. And when I looked in the rear view mirror, I saw a black shadow flash by the rear window of my car, followed by some noises that sounds like someone running towards my car. My heart never raced so fast to put my key into the ignition and peel out and get out of there. Whatever it was didn't seem like it wanted us there, and I have yet to drive under or by the bridge since. I heard whispering all throughout the house. When I was a child, I was scared of the dark. I swore to my mother I heard voices in it. They were not evil, but they were not familiar, and so they scared me. It was not uncommon in the middle of the night for me to wake up and hear whispers, as I would call them when asking my mom. She figured they were just bumps in the night and typical kids' nightmare material. I tried often to explain to her that it was more than that they sounded different from one another the way people's voices do. On some nights I would get so scared from these whispers that I would sleep in my mom's bed with her. It was an added bonus that the bathroom was directly outside of her bedroom door for my late night tinkles. I should add at this point that when walking out into the hall to go to the bathroom, you look directly down the stairs that would lead you into my living room on the first floor, as my mom's bedroom was on the second floor. On one such night, around Christmas, I awoke and felt the need to relieve myself. I walked out from the door and distinctly heard the phrase "look." And to my astonishment, a red light almost like a spotlight, was cast upon the wall at the very bottom of the stairs. The light had no other source, it was by itself, and I was transfixed by it. Being a little kid, and it only being a few days from Christmas, I knew what this light was. It was Santa. How else could he get into my house to know I was being a good boy? I was so excited I began walking down the stairs to greet him, picking up my pace after the second step as it began to creep off the wall and fade into the darkness in my living room. That's when I heard him. A very strong, masculine voice. Different from the first. Not at all like my father's, not to say he isn't masculine, it was just distinctly different. It said, "Stop. Right now. Go back up those stairs." I listened, turned around, and what happened next I am not sure I would believe if someone had told me the same story. After reaching the top of the stairs, I heard a very loud crash that sent me running back to my mother's bed, where I jumped straight under the covers and stayed there the whole night. When we awoke the next morning, the poinsettia lights, little Christmas flower lights that glowed red, my mother had put on the railing down to the bottom of the stairs, some broken from what seemed like a forceful tear, laying in a single pile. The dry sink in my living room had fallen from the wall. My mother could not explain it. My father was worried we had been the victims of a home invasion. My sister was crying. There was nothing missing. Nobody had broken in. There did not seem to be any reason this had happened. And then I saw it, and I kept quiet about it, because I was so afraid that I could not force words out of my mouth. There, on the edge of the wooden dry sink which had been facing up, were 3 indentations where the finish on the wood had been worn, almost as if in a forceful grip. Something down there had grabbed it and threw it down. That was what the bang was. I was mortified. After that day I never heard a single voice again. I do not like to imagine what was waiting downstairs for me that night, if it was anything at all. But I can tell you that the reality was that something had physically acted upon 2 things in my house near the bottom of that stairwell. After this, I had never heard another whisper again. Which is sad, because in some ways I would have liked to thank the man that had stopped me from going down those stairs. This happened when I was 7 or 7.5. As I liked to say at the time. I am 20 years old now, and because of this incident I am still afraid of the dark, especially shadowy stairwells.
Thanks for listening to this story to the end. Every Wednesday and Sunday Flashes of Memory publishes a new story.